and shoot this video. So this week I spent some time at the headquarters building some equipment, which next week will be getting installed at the locations. And one day, I think I spoke about before, we have quite a small car park at the HQ. So this delivery came and we had to move a few of us were told that we had to move our vehicles out so the big lorry could, 12-ton lorry or something, could drop off these materials. So we did that, and as we moved our vans, and I was just watched because obviously we were going to move our vans, but I just stood outside because I asked the guy how long it takes. He said, "Oh, it only take about 10 minutes." So I stood there, and as I was standing there, the guy who works in the warehouse was operating a forklift truck. So he's driving the forklift truck up and down. He's driving the forklift truck, taking the pallets off the forklift truck and driving it back into the warehouse. As he's doing this, you see the lorry driver is just like looking at him, like looking at the man's head, like this. And just out of curiosity, I stood there, I talked to him, I was like, "Oh, so where did you drive down from? Where did you bring delivery?" He started telling me where he drove the lorry from and what his route was on the motorway in the UK. And then I was like, "Do you need a license to drive the forklift truck?" And he started talking to me about a license to drive his. He didn't know. And he went, "Oh, you mean that truck?" He goes, "Yeah, more like a going fast license." So he was saying indirectly that the guy that was driving it was moving too slow. He's like, he needs a going fast license. And we both started laughing. So when the guy on the forklift truck, let's call him Ben, for instance, this Ben guy, he took everything off the forklift truck, and we were in the warehouse and we had our area where we were all building this equipment that we're going to install next week. It's quite a few parts, so you have to put it together first. So we're like doing the electrics, building things, wiring it all together, whatever. And the guy goes up to him, when the Ben guy walks into the warehouse, he says to one of my co-workers, "Hurry up, come, go quicker, it's too slow, as a joke. Like, he's like, and I just burst out laughing. And then my colleague's like, "What's so funny? What are you laughing?" Because I was laughing too. So I told him what happened, and he started laughing too. I told him, how the lorry driver delivering the materials told me how the Ben guy needs a going faster license driving the forklift truck, and he now came in and told my colleague to build faster, because even though we have an area to build, we're not based there. We just sort of come. So, but obviously, if we go faster, we can now drive out of the headquarters. So he wanted us out. Basically, what he meant. We said that. So I wanted to put that here because, obviously, yeah, with these characters, I'm not saying that this guy is a narc or toxic or manipulator or whatever, but it is definitely one rule. I thought it was quite relevant to what I speak about here, because with a lot of these people, it's definitely one rule for them, one rule for you or for us. So they might say to you one to do something and they do the complete opposite. And I got a story about that. I worked another job. Let's make the guy's name. He's saying with this guy called Mike. Now, me and Mike and another colleague were doing one job. And when we were doing one job, the materials that we use, there was some leftover materials. And he was like, "Oh, this material, we have to make sure it goes back, because it was ordered specifically for this job, for this blah, blah, speaking order. It has to go back to the headquarters." And when we got back to the headquarters, one of my colleagues had delivered it back. It was there and it hadn't been put back with the forklift back into this like very high storage area. So the manager of the stores was like, "Oh, I can't store this. It's too big. It's XYZ, but I want the drum, the packaging it comes on." I want the packaging because I need to send that back to the place where it came from because they recycled them X Y Z blah blah. And he goes to me. He goes, the guy was like, you can't store it. And then that guy, Mike, he takes off the material and he goes and he puts it in his van. And so basically, it's like when we do certain jobs, sometimes there's leftover, sometimes there's things that we take off the old one that we can go and make use of those things. If you know what I mean, if you can add two and two together, yeah. And he was like saying, "Oh, we can't do something," but when nobody was looking, he was doing the exact thing that he was saying we can't do. It's important to put this thing here because these people who suffer from narcissistic traits, they always find a way to steal our share. Like, say because we were on that job together, really what a normal person would have done, or neurotypical or whatever a natural person would have done would be like, okay, I was on that job with you, another colleague, and myself. So if there's any extra, we would split the outgoing from that, or the residue financial. We would split it between us. Yet he thought no one was listening, so he took the whole thing. And I was like close by. He kept going, all right, my name, all right. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I was just like acting like I weren't listening. I was like on my phone or something. And yeah, so he took the whole thing for himself. And when I retrained as well, when I retrained, I went back to, I had to go back to college or whatever. So I wasn't making any money. So at that time, a family member who was in control of like my dad's funds, so his income in every month, she would send me a share of it. And then at some point when I stopped giving her supply, she decided to no longer send me a share. So at first I was like, why are you not sending? I need it for this, I need it for that. But after a while, I just stopped talking about it. And so I'm pretty sure those monies will just go into their pockets. Like they always cheating, backhanding, sly, always stealing, spying, manipulating, exposing. Just like, it's never like, when you're dealing with a toxic person, a manipulative person, a narc, it's never like fair. Like, we're both, we're gonna go and have a fight and we're both there with hands. They will have knuckle dusters hidden. They will have like some secret weapon, like somebody else turns up as 2 against 1, or they'll put something slippery under your shoes, or they'll like, there was a story about a woman who her son was competing for this competition with another son, and then the mum put itching powder in the uniforms of the martial arts of these other children or something, so her son won. Like, they always cheat. They always find a way of underhandedly having an advantage. So the monies was, quite a big amount. So say that amount has now been taken from me, and it was kind of like rightfully, some would have been mine, like, because I belong in that family, or in that group. And also in our culture, the guys are kind of seen that the eldest should have some of the leftovers or whatever. That's just how we do it. But you can share it, but not even to share. They give you absolute nothing. They just decide to take they give you, they take the whole thing. Your share would be removed. There was also another family abroad, and their share was cut, the whole amount. Not even like, we'll take away some because you're using too much. Remove completely. And subsequently, it leads to other things. So you do that to them, and then they will now underhandedly do other things to you. Like, after that, someone ended up passing away. Is that all of these things are connected, because when someone passes away, you now have to send them some. So everything's done out of a space of survival. So they needed that funds, and because you taken it away from them, they'll find other malicious, underhanded, demonic ways to get you back. That includes kidnapping people, it includes killing people, and then getting the ransom money or getting you to send money for funeral. All these kind of things take a play, and because these people have no empathy or have no like emotions, for them they can't see that their actions actually affect people's lives. Like, major taking away that amount, so that means now I was struggling to pay my rent, struggling to pay my bills, struggling to find money to find things to eat because I wasn't working. So that they don't think about, oh, could it be XYZ? Let me just remove completely the entire amount. It's the same as that work thing, and you see people, they cut you out and then they start turning up to work and they got new Apple Watches, they're wearing new chain jewelry, new trainers, because they cut you out and just take everything. Yeah, I just thought I'd just add that now. There's the thing about us is that spiritually, we're very like, we have like, high vibes, so like we need to try and stay there. I was walking past somebody in the gym today, and he's somebody that lives locally, and he held eye contact with me, and he was just like, his eyes just lit up and he was looking at me, and I was just looking at him like, oh, okay. But I'm definitely, when I see that guy again, I'm just gonna avoid looking at him. It was so like weird. It was like somebody was feeding, like, look at me, look at me. Like, yeah, man, sometimes we attract people, the wrong kinds, so we have to be very aware that we test people, we vet people, we take our time out here in these streets.